So in case you are wondering what did I use for getting my bowl to stick it onto my bed, it's very simple. It's just water. After I brush the water, I can just put it on here, and once the water dry or one water contact with that, the bowl contact with the bed, you will create a slip in between, and the slip is using the slip as a glue to glue them together. So if you want to use water or slip method to get your piece stick onto your bed, the best way is to learn how to tap centering, because once you have water in between, so that's how I stick my piece on. Now my bowl is sticking on the bed very firm without moving. Otherwise, you could use just the clay coil to stick them on. So I'm using my D-shaped tungsten carbide loop tool to trim. Tungsten carbide tool is my preferred tool now because they don't wear out easily, they don't get dull easily, they stay sharp for a very long time. So once you are using the tungsten carbide tool, it's hard to get back to the normal material unless I'm doing a chattering, or unless I am doing some special trimming. Otherwise, the tungsten carbide tool now is my favorite tool to use. And for the carbide tool, normally you want to trim your clay a little bit on the firmer side because the tool is very sharp, so you can go to the clay easily. If you trim it on the softer clay, you might get unwanted chattering. The unwanted chattering is caused by, first, you might spin your wheel too fast. And secondly, you might trim your clay too soft, especially on the groggy clay, because when the tungsten carbide, they are very sharp tool, and when you cut the grog and the soft clay, and when it hits the grog is harder, so it's harder to go. But once you move to the soft spot, the soft clay is going to make a dent. So you cut the grog and the soft clay, grog and soft clay, so it kind of create a vibration. That's why if you keep on doing it, you will get the unwanted chattering, especially on the groggy clay. So what you want to do is slow down the speed of the wheel and try not to cut your clay too deep at a time, and try to get a angle that if you find out you start to get the unwanted chattering, try to use different part of the tool. Maybe just like using the corner, so you will have less resistance instead of using the whole blade. If you use the whole blade, you might create the unwanted chattering easily. And also, when people are using the tool to cut it, they always hold the tool this way, like the tool is on 90 degrees to the surface of the clay, 90 degrees. That way you are kind of like scraping the clay, like this is your blade. And we're holding the clay this way. See that you are scraping, so you get that chattering mark. So you might want to slightly tilt your blade, slightly tilt. So you are shaping it up instead of scraping it. Scraping it is easy to get. See that? You hear the sound? Right, that is chattering. Right, chattering. Okay, chattering. So slightly tilt your tool and spin the wheel slow, little bit slower. Slightly tilt it. If you find the chattering start to come in, tilt it, and maybe use different blade, different part of your blade to cut the clay. Maybe one portion of it instead of using the whole blade. Because you are using the whole blade, you might have more surface area touching the clay, which you have a more resistance and easy to cause your tool to vibrate. Slightly tilt it, and you are shaving the clay off. And also try not to cut the thickly, cut it too deep every time unless you have a lot of to remove it. This tool is very sharp, so it's very easy to get the root of clay easily. And also get your finger closer to your tool and maybe one other hand to brace it. Okay, the other hand, I usually use my thumb to brace the head of the trimming tool. And cut a smaller, thinner ribbon off. And you can see that I don't create any of the unwanted chatter mark. The surface stays smooth. But if you want to do the chattering intentionally, what I will do is just do the opposite. Like I don't put my other hand to brace it, and I speed up the wheel faster, and I hold my tool loosely, faster. And I hold my tool loosely and longer, and you can see that my tool start to vibrate. And it start to create the chattering mark. See the chattering mark? Because my tool is very sharp, so it's easy to get chattering mark if you don't hold the tool firmly and closer to the head. Now I want to remove the mark, the cherry mark. And sometimes it's very hard to remove the unwanted cherry mark because you already have the uneven surface, and your tool tend to go into the uneven and exaggerated. So you have to go slowly and then cut it slightly deeper. Like I say that you want to reduce the speed of the wheel to now here, see this part here, I already removed the chatter mark. You can compare here. This is the chatter mark. This is chatter mark. And let's go down a little bit further. Okay, now you can see that I removed the chatter mark. Okay, so this is the trimming. I show you how to use, how to avoid the unwanted chattering, and also for on-purpose chattering if you want to do the chattering mark.